You know, scientists are so strange. They keep changing things so rapidly that you can't keep up with them. One time they're saying that this short, 3 feet tall woman was Lucy and was the first mother of the human race. Now, secondly, they come with Ardi, who looks like 6 feet tall or so. Now, they need to make up their mind, because I know already that both of the discoveries are fake and bogus. Now, Ardi nor Lucy don't seem as though they could live more than 500 years, but the first, a female, whose name was Eve, she lived probably close to 900 years or more. And for you to live that long, you have to be born with enormous potential. So, as far as they had giants in the past, and of course, an offspring can be anything taller than the parent. They're either going to be less or the same, but not more. So Eve was about 18 feet tall. Remember that the purpose of creating humans in this world was not necessarily just to inhabit this place. They were created to replace the fallen angels, Lucifer, Satan, and his angels. And so they were created a little lower than the angels, and had they passed the test and been faithful, they would have just flipped over and become angels. Now, angels are mighty beings. Therefore, she had already the strength and the potential to be an angel. Over time, man has started to amalgamate themselves with other of God's creation, and this is why man has been dwarfed. As we see Ardi looks part human and part animal. Now, I don't see how we could come from animals as opposed to us, animals coming from us. In other words, they might have amalgamated themselves or had sex with some animal that created animal human features. So this again is the next hoax. Eve was created, as I said, a little lower than the angels. She was created with Adam to populate the earth, and had they been all faithful, they would have been angels. By now they would have stopped reproducing. And there's no evidence that the world has existed that long. I have done a study in the age of the world, and my study, I checked the numbers, and it came up to was 6,200 and something years. So that the millions that they're talking about cannot be. I don't think they could find the human bones after, for that long period. Even the bones they're finding, who knows if they weren't just buried a couple hundred years ago. Because we know very well that our relatives that are buried across town, the bones degenerate and decompose in a little bit. So there's absolutely no way they could find bones that are millions of years old. But I may agree that there may be some million years factor into Earth's history, in that when in the beginning, when God said, in the beginning, the earth was without form and void. The Greeks and the Hebrews say that they use different words. They say in beginning or in the beginning. So there are two big begins here. The beginning is when everything began, and a beginning that would be millions of years ago. And then a beginning is the beginning, which is just 6,000 years ago. To reconcile it, it could have been that the earth was in existence from the beginning. It had been created with all the other worlds and planets, and then he came in and he organized it. Or it could have been that 6,000 so many years ago, he just created it from nothing. And I think this is the position that mostly holds, because he had to create at least the moon and the sun to come in and do what they do for the earth, so that at least the moon and the sun are about 6,000 years old, and this either the earth could be the same or before. But before, even if it had been millions of years, it's only when 6,002 years ago that he put in the sun and the moon to give this earth the ability to sustain life. So that this Lucy thing and this Ardi thing with these millions of years is bogus. Adam and Eve were created by God, and they're about 18 feet tall, much more massive. So those pygmies and those dwarfs that they have there, basically, in my mind, are just a hoax.